To the first episode of the Cincy Connex podcast. Today we have Terry Hochscheid from PetSups.com. One of the greatest Ohioans, I think, that's ever lived. Pretty sure that's accurate. Yeah. I put you on the list.
That works. That works for me. Top 10 at least.
Yeah. So I've been following you doing this PetSups thing. Like, I don't want to say from the beginning because I don't know. When did you start?
So we officially launched last September.
Okay.
But I was so I met with my web developer early last year.
Yeah.
Early 2019. And kind of told him what I wanted to do, told him my idea. You know, he was down to build a website and all that stuff. And he was like, hey, you need to consider just like dropping Easter eggs and like dropping hints as to what you're doing to kind of like build up momentum, build up anticipation. Yeah. So that's what I did. And in April of last year, we officially like filed all the paperwork and got everything set up and, you know, got the LLC started and all that stuff. And from like April to September 2nd of last year, I was just like posting little Easter eggs, dropping little hints of what we're doing and stuff like that without fully going into like, hey, here's exactly what's going on. Yeah. So then we launched in September. Officially, we launched our website September of last year. We've been up and running for 16 months it's been now.
What gave you the idea for this? Was it like you were looking at the market and you saw like a gap that needed to be filled, or was it something like we need this for our dogs or our cats or?
Yeah. So what this wound up being was, you know, I was telling you about working at DHL earlier.
Yeah.
So DHL got heavy into selling like to e-commerce companies.
Yeah.
So we kind of transitioned our business model from business to business, trying to find manufacturers, trying to find people importing giant sheets of metal or whatever from China, to what's the next wave in business, and it's e-commerce.
Yeah.
So DHL had kind of like was kind of like the forefront out there, and just had the I guess fortitude to say, you know, we need to start selling to e-commerce guys.
Yeah.
So what DHL did was pretty drastic actually, and it was make a bunch of cuts in terms of what we accepted weight wise, and pretty much we told a lot of our best customers, our top customers, like, hey, starting at this date, we're not taking your freight anymore. And basically cut it out in hopes that, you know, we would replace one 500 kilo crate or 1,000 pound crate or whatever with 1,000 1-pound shipments.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what the plan was. It was a pretty drastic move in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I got kind of tasked to kind of like lead our team from the e-commerce standpoint.
Yeah.
I think it was solely because I was like the youngest one on the team.
Yeah.
So like obviously I knew about e-commerce.
But because
the
older guy, like you're more current on.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I got plugged into, and I learned a lot about e-commerce. So I learned a lot about e-commerce. I learned a lot about how just the systems operate and shipping platforms and payment platforms and all this stuff. And I was just like, honestly, like I'll never forget it. I was just laying in bed one night, like researching like industries that are pretty like untapped.
Yeah.
And I came across two. One was the pet supplement market, and the other one was like wholesaling like protein.
Okay.
So it was interesting, right?
Is wholesaling protein something like people who make protein supplements, like protein powders?
Yeah, so like I guess what essentially would it be is like have like brands of protein and wholesaling them direct to other companies or whatever it is.
For whatever those companies need.
Okay. I didn't look too much into the wholesaling protein portion because I was kind of like, well, like there's a lot of people. I know personally a lot of people that are in this type of industry, and like that doesn't include the millions of people that I don't know that are in it.
That was why I was so fascinated with what you're doing, because I saw you doing pet supplements and I was like, I didn't even know they made pet supplements.
Right.
Like I know they make people supplements, and I was like, can dogs just take people supplements? Right. I was like, I don't know. I'm not a doctor or a vet, so I don't know if that works.
It was funny because when I first started talking about it, especially like people at work, they weren't sure either. They hadn't heard it either. So they were like thinking like I was going to sell like creatine to dogs and stuff.
You're going to get in like the dog weightlifting industry?
You get steroids for dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, it has nothing to do with any of that. I said, it's like joint health supplements, and anxiety relief, and, you know, stuff like that. And that's what it wound up. You know, I kind of came across that idea, and I was like, well, I'm going to look more into this. You know? So I did a ton of research, and I talked to a bunch of different manufacturers just trying to get like an idea of everything and trying to understand everything. And it was one of those things where I was always kicking around the idea, and I was like, man, this might be a good thing to do. This might be worth it. And I knew the potential was there.
Yeah.
But I was like, I really want to mess with this, right? And it kind of sucks because what happened was I was getting ready for work one day, and our dog at the time, Harley, he was a little Chihuahua Pug mix, was like 14 or 15, and he didn't have any health issues that we were aware of. Like the vet didn't outline anything. Like we didn't know anything was going on with him. And I go to let the dogs out in the morning for work like I normally do. Kids are getting ready for school. And Axel, our beagle that I was telling you about earlier, goes right outside, does his thing, whatever. And Harley's just kind of laying there. And I'm like, come on, bud. We got to go outside. Like, I don't got time to waste. We got to go.
Yeah.
And he's like, same thing with my son, right? He was breathing super heavy.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, come on. So, like, I grabbed a treat and tried to entice him with the treat or whatever. And he took, like, 2 or 3 steps outside of his cage and just plopped over right there and died on the spot.
Wow.
And I was like, what the heck is going on? Like,
yeah.
What just happened? Like, there was no signs of medical issues. There was no signs of health issues.
Yeah.
And he just up and passed away, like, right in front of my eyes. So I rushed him to the vet, and I knew he was gone. But that's when I was like, you know what? This needs to be a thing. Like, I need to go forward with this because my whole goal with the business was if I could afford to offer a product, a premium product, not something filled with garbage, not something filled with trash, but a premium product at a good price for somebody with a pet, and it allows them to have time, just a little bit of time back with their pet. So if your dog is struggling severely with like joint health problems, or you see your dog's getting older, you see them starting to take a little bit longer to get up in the morning, and they're not wanting to go on walks as often, or they're not going as far, or whatever the case is, I wanted to offer a product that we could provide to the consumer that essentially bridges that gap and gives some more time. So if somebody gets another day, another hour, another month, another year, or whatever, that was my goal. Yeah. And I mean, it's to this date, it's worked out, and I've gotten nothing but incredible feedback from a lot of people saying, like, man, my golden retriever's 12, and like I give him your joint health supplement every month, and it's incredible to see what he's doing and how he's getting around compared to what he was before I gave it to him.
Yeah, we've had, growing up, I've always had labs, and our last family lab, she had hip dysplasia for like most of her life. And like we take her to the vet, and they just be like, "Well, she just got hip dysplasia," and it's like there's nothing for that. Like there's nothing that can. And that's when I like started following your thing. I was like, well, maybe if like one of these supplements could just help, because they don't offer you like they either offer you like meds or it's like nothing. They don't like tell. It's almost like you don't treat your dog like a human. Like where a human would be like, well, maybe start like getting some more vitamin D or something. Yeah, it's like they're just like, well, they got it, and that's about it. So when I saw like Pet Sups and you guys like doing like over the counter stuff that would help dogs like with certain issues, I was like, this is like brilliant. I think this would be amazing for countless pet owners.
Yeah, no, I mean we've been in business for 16 months now, and I mean we're by no means are we like just blowing it out of the water, like able to quit my job type situation.
That's the goal.
We're slowly growing every month, and year to date we're up I think 110% growth year over year.
Yeah.
So I mean we're getting there, but the important thing is, like, we've shipped to probably half the United States. We've shipped to Belgium. We've shipped to Australia.
That's awesome.
Our products have, like, quite literally, Puerto Rico been in, all over the world.
Yeah.
And that's what I want it to be because it's, whether it's, we got a multivitamin or a joint health supplement or anxiety issues, dry skin problems, whatever it is, I want to be able to provide that product.
Yeah.
Like you said, like, nothing against the medication and stuff that vets provide, but what I wanted to do was offer something that was alternative, something that as long as you got the okay, I never tell anybody just buy this product up front. I always say talk to your vet first. Make sure your vet is okay with purchasing this product. Yeah, because your vet knows, somebody's vet knows more about their pet's health than what I would know. Clearly. So, that's something where it's like, if I can offer something that's an alternative, like if somebody knows their pet's in good health. Like to take something different, and their mobility's slowing down a little bit, or they just got really bad dry skin, that's where we come in rather than having a medication. Because one of the things I get probably more often than not is when people have pets with anxiety, they ask about our hemp oil that we have because it always follows up after the question about the hemp oil and what we have for anxiety. It follows up with like, this isn't going to turn my dog into a zombie. because the medication I have to give that is prescribed turns my dog into a zombie. Like I was like, no, it doesn't. It helps calm your pet down. It helps them relax, and it doesn't reduce alertness. Like your pet's still alert. They still know what's going on. But a lot of times medication, that is prescribed, there's side effects to medication.
Yeah, I've known people if they have a super high energy dog like a boxer or something that just won't stop, go, like, and they have people or company coming over to like give them a Benadryl, like super low dose, just to like chill them out.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know if that's good. I'm not a vet.
I have no idea.
I was like, it works and it's not hurting the dog, so I guess it's fine. But like, is anyone looking into this stuff? Like, is there a better way we can go? Like, just over the counter, like, hey, here's some dog melatonin or something. I don't really know.
And that's what I wanted to kind of, like I said, be kind of the gap between that. I mean, there's there's companies that have been out there doing this for a long time. What I wanted to do, what kind of separates us is, one, we ship international, which no other company I found ships international. But two, the majority of our products are liquid-based, whereas everyone else's products are either a powder form, a chew form, a pill, whatever it is. And we offer liquid because it's more absorbable.
Yeah.
In, the pet's body. So if your pet's taking our liquid joint health supplement, it's more absorbable up to 98% in their body to help them out.
I didn't even know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, versus soft chews or pills or whatever, and a lot of that has to do with the way the stuff's processed and made, and the heat.
Liquid's probably easier to get into a dog too, right? Or a dog.
It's way easier.
Yeah, because otherwise you got to hide something.
You got like the pill, like pills. You gotta like my one day, and she had some infection or whatever on her chin.
Yeah.
So we just got some medicine from the vet. And they're little red pills, and I hate that I had to do it, but I had to like literally open her mouth and put it down in her throat to where she had to swallow it because she would not take it.
Yeah,
every time I'd put it in cheese or meat or something, she'd always find it and spit it out.
Yeah.
I'm like, God dang dog.
Yeah. So, it's like they like swish it around in their mouth.
Exactly,
Like,
they know.
I know what that was.
Yeah, I know what that is. So that's the nice thing about the liquid too is you can literally mix it. It's water. It's water soluble, so you can mix it into their water if you need to mix it into their water. You can put it in their food. It's most of our stuff's either beef or bacon flavored.
Yeah.
Makes it super easy to eat.
Yeah.
So you just mix it directly in their food, and they gotta eat. They gotta drink water.
That's $1 million idea, right?
It helps. It helps to actually get the product in. The supplement into their body to help them out with whatever they're struggling with or whatever.
Yeah.
Without having to put it in a piece of cheese or a piece of bologna or something and trick them.
Anyone who's ever had a pet knows, like, you gotta hide it.
It's such a pain, man.
Yeah, it's...
Peanut butter, cheese, or, like, lunch meat. It's like...
Yeah, peanut butter, I think, is the best one because it sticks. So even if they're, like...
Yeah, they have...
they can't get rid of it.
Stuck at the roof of their mouth.
Oh, yeah. And then you just hope it dissolves on the roof of their mouth.
Right. So, that's, that's kind of what I wanted us to be different in terms of how we go about our business. And, all of our products are manufactured, they're called CGMP manufacturers, so like certified good manufacturing practices. All of our products are manufactured in those facilities. We got 2 different manufacturers we use, and they're all like third-party independent certified. They're all certified safe and effective, and more importantly, they all have a certification from the national. I've never heard of this company until I started this business. Mm-hmm. The National Animal Supplement Council, which kind of certifies. It basically they certify companies that produce animal supplements, and all of our products have that certification. So all of our products are truly safe, effective, and good alternatives.
There's a council for something I didn't even know exists.
There's probably so many councils out there for all kinds of stuff.
There's just people sitting at a table,
right,
all over the world. That's so weird.
It is kind of weird, actually.
I was just so like fascinated with the idea, and then just like seeing you go forward with it, and like picking up like progress and like getting customers, and I was like, I was happy you were doing it because I see like you didn't give up, and I think a lot of problems with like people who like start something or want to do something is like they go and then they hit some trouble or they come into contact with something and they're like, oh well, like to move forward I got to get this huge website, or like if I'm going to compete with something I got to have a website equal to like Iams or something, or like Big League Chew, and you're like, I can't get a website like that, so you just stop and you don't. And it totally, I think a lot of people hit that mark where they may have a good idea or they may have the drive or the passion to do something, but they hit some snags and they're like, oh, I'm going up against this monster. There's no way I can do it. So they just kind of brushed it under the rug, and then they stopped. But like following you and seeing you make progress, and even like offering you products, and like putting things out there, and like you were part of the inspiration for me doing this, because I was like, this guy's doing great, and like, it's I would say one of the biggest things with any small business like is just advertising and getting your word out there, because like you can't afford commercials, and like and who's even watching TV now anyway? Netflix isn't doing commercials, so and also like you see people, even when you see people on like Facebook or Instagram and stuff, and they're pitching you something, you don't actually like. I mean, I see people on Facebook all the time like selling Cincy or something, but it's someone like I vaguely knew in high school that went to a different school. So you're like, I don't even like, is this person even like I don't know them, and I don't know why they're doing this. And I think it's good to get to see like who you're buying from as a small business and kind of get to know them. So when I was thinking about the podcast, I was like, I think customers would love to like get to like I think people want to help small businesses, but at the same time they're like, I don't know who this guy is, where the money's going, why does she keep trying to sell me candles? I don't it's like and maybe that's her passion, I don't know, but like you want to get to know these people better. And a lot of times like if you like, hey, like you can't just start a conversation like, hey, I noticed you're selling candles, how do you feel about the presidential election coming up? And they're like, what? So, but like just getting to know, I think, the small businesses and giving them an opportunity was why I wanted to do this, because I mean, at the end of the day, like I feel like most of us are all in the same weird little thing where we all want to do something,
right? And
I saw you doing it, and you just kept going. You didn't let it stop you, like no matter what roadblocks you hit. And I was just like, that's how you gotta do it, like
right. No, you're right. And, you know, I think a big thing with a lot of people is, like, having that sense of purpose and having that, like, sense of, like, what did I do that left, you know, an impression on someone's life, or, you know, left an impression on, you know, the world or my community or whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of people want to have that sense of they accomplished something more than just, like, I made X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
Right? And it has been, and it's awesome seeing you guys do this podcast. Like, I look forward to seeing how this grows, you know, and how this continues.
Hopefully we get a better camera, because that setup is pretty sketchy.
Well, I mean, let me put it this way, man. I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I wonder what his first episode was like.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it, you need to see it. You need to watch it, because it's literally a setup that's similar to this. It's in his apartment or in his condo or something.
Yeah.
He's got Bill Burr on. And his sponsor was what's his sponsor? The Fleshlight.
Oh yeah. I remember those old days of the Rogan show.
So like, you know, you see where that started to where it is now, getting the I think it was a $200 million Spotify deal or something.
Yeah.
And he started his podcast, same thing, like a couple mics, probably not a very good camera or whatever the case, whatever he could afford to do, he did.
Yeah.
It just went with it, and it just, you know, took off. And
and I was I've always kind of had that thought, but I was always a thinker and an overthinker, and like if I'm gonna do it, I want it to be right, and like almost like to like perfectionist level. So like I would think and think and think, and I had that moment with my son of him messing around with me, playing with the stuff, and I was like, I just got to do it. I don't want to not do it.
Yeah.
And then regret it. And I think the big step for me was just, you know, putting myself out there on that Facebook video, which, by the way, and I know you've done it, like when you do like you've done like the interactive, like ask me questions. When I was making like that intro video, it's so weird to like look at yourself on a screen.
It is really weird
because you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah,
like,
it is really weird. You're like talking to yourself.
Yeah.
And I've had that. I've had when I first started this, I tried to because for that exact reason, I want to make sure people knew who I was and put a face to the company and stuff like that. And you know, I would do these videos or whatever, and it'd be like one person's watching.
Yeah.
Or like no one's watching
Yeah.
while I'm talking. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is awful. Like I'm sitting there talking about this like giveaway I'm trying to do and like nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know?
There's like one homeless guy at the library watching.
There's like one dude watching or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, do you got change? And you're like, sir, I don't know who you are.
Right.
But you're in
Right.
a room by yourself and your wife's probably like, what's going on?
Or like somebody, like a family member's watching, like your mom's watching just to like support you.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, this sucks.
Yeah, but I love that because like you just did it and you just kept doing it.
You just gotta do it. You know,
Yeah.
I know people like, there's people that started off, you talk about the candle thing, right? And there's people that, you know, what I notice is a lot of people in like network marketing and multi-level marketing do these videos all the time because it's kind of like their way to get it out.
Yeah.
And I've seen people like, I've had family members that went from like, you know, doing this video, nobody watching, like nervous as could be.
Yeah.
Not understanding like what they're trying to say, what they're trying to do. Like it's the first time they've ever filmed themselves doing a live video.
Yeah.
And now it's like a year later, they're super confident. They're doing like tutorials, and it's like hundreds of people are watching, and like 80, 90, 100 comments. And granted, you know, a lot of the comments are from the same people, but like you're getting the interaction now.
Yeah.
And it's just like you said, it's a matter of just doing it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to it. Like you have to just do it. I mean, there's probably more people that have had $1 million ideas that haven't taken action on it than have.
Yeah, I think about that all the time.
And it's like you'll never know unless you do it.
Yeah.
You know, unless you take the chance, unless you start the podcast, unless you start the e-commerce business, or you know, get out there and you want to have the best landscaping company in your community. Once you get out there and start knocking on doors and saying, "Hey, man, I'll cut your grass for $10 every other week, or every week I'll come out here $10. I'll cut your grass." You know, you're not making any money doing it.
Yeah.
You know, you might make $1 or $2 per yard, but you're just getting out there.
Yeah, and you're building a base.
And you slowly grow.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of what we've been doing this whole time. And you know, I've had times where like my mind was getting to me, and you know, I felt like awful about everything, and like, you know, there's been a lot of times where I've questioned it, like, man, especially in like our first 6 months, I've been questioning it a lot. Like, is this even like, does this make sense? Am I doing the right thing? Does it like, am I wasting my time doing this? You know, and luckily, I mean, my wife's been absolutely incredible, just supporting, you know, just getting through this. And, you know, she's told me before, like, you got to put more than 6 months in. Like, it's going to take longer than 6 months. It's going to take longer than a year. You can't be that, like, you can't expect it to just, like, 8 months in, all of a sudden take off.
Yeah,
and you got hundreds of orders.
Jaguar suits. And
right.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I'm glad it's kind of taken the way it's taken and the path it's taken. I mean, it's slowly, we went from earlier this year, probably one order every other day, to now almost like an order and a half every day. Nice. Essentially is what the numbers break down to, right? So like we're getting there. And then like next year, my goal for 2021 is to get up to like 3 orders a day, right?
Yeah.
And I want to double what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it'll be probably impossible to double every single year, but until we hit a point to where we're consistently, you know, we're in a point where I got employees and we're in like a warehouse and we're shipping out, and that's when you get to the point where you're like, okay, I'll take 20% growth.
Yeah.
But right now, you know, I'm like, I need 100% growth. I need 200% growth, because that's what's going to help me get to that point where I can afford 20% growth.
Yeah.
But have employees on payroll and help them improve their lives and continue to help, you know, pet parents all over the world, while having my own people that I'm making sure they're getting paid and they're taken care of and they're, you know, enjoying being a part of something bigger than themselves, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, man, it'll get there. Yeah. Just time. It all takes time.
I think there's this weird, like people, like, and I know nowadays people don't like big business, and, like, they talk so bad about it. But and to an extent, big business can get really bad. But and you honestly want to support small businesses because they can be less, if you want to say, corrupt, or maybe you think small businesses allocate their money better with their employees and the community, and you see what you're paying for. But like, I think people are just using big business wrong. Like don't like hate on Amazon. Like, use Amazon for like the good parts of Amazon. Like, if you need something, like, order what you need. Like, don't just order like, hey, I bought these socks that light up. Like, oh, what are we gonna do with them? I don't know. I might wear them to a holiday party. Like, I think people just don't use the assets of big business the way they should. Right. And like, being a small business, like, I don't think people, there's like this weird Do you encounter like not like, I don't want to say haters. I don't think like haters even really exist. A lot of times it's just people like giving constructive criticism.
Yeah.
And people are like, haters, man.
I know.
And it's
they want it. They want
your fly was down the whole time. He's just letting you know in a comedic manner.
Yeah.
But like, was there people that like when you started and you like even maybe today like people you thought who would support you, but instead of like, are you still doing that? Like, what like. Is it going anywhere? Like, almost like putting a negative light on what you're trying to do.
Yeah, so...
Okay, we're back. We had camera difficulties. We were talking about haters, basically. Well, okay, not haters. They're not. They're just people in your life you would think would help you.
Yeah. So, initially, that used to bother me a lot.
Yeah.
Because what used to bother me would be people that I knew would reach out and ask a question. And then I'm like, oh yeah, we have this exact thing that helps with exactly what you're asking for. And here's the link to take you exactly to where you need to go. And here's a discount. And then like they would just go ghost. And it was people I knew, like I've worked with, friends, family, whoever.
Yeah.
And like that used to, when I first started, because we were just getting up and running.
Yeah.
So when I first started, that was the thing that pissed me off the most. Yeah. And that was the thing where I'm like, man, what the hell is wrong with people?
Yeah.
You know?
I would think the exact
same thing. It's like
same
you
thing.
asked me for a solution, I provided a solution. And gave you a discount without you asking for it. I don't need to, but I did. And like you went, Gus, and that used to really bother me. And that's one of the things that used to mess with me a lot.
Yeah.
Because it was like, man, all these people, like I used to have all the support when I was dropping the Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be dropping Easter eggs, and there'd be a lot of people like commenting or whatever. And you fall victim to that on social media. Like if you get, like if you would have did your podcast post, I don't know what kind of attention it got. But if you would have had like 500 people reacting to it and commenting on it and everything, you'd be like, man, this podcast is gonna like do some serious damage.
Yeah.
And then, like, you start it, and, like, nobody shows up. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's like, I can't make it. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
And
well, even with the support, like, you
just don't know. And it's not, like, a negative thing. What I've come to realize, like, it's not like those people don't want to see success. They don't want to see people they know succeed.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the right time, you know?
Yeah, okay.
And that's what I've come to realize. It's like, you know, they might be asking a question, but it might be for, like, 3 months down the road.
Yeah.
You know, I've come to, like, accept this. So, like... Luckily now we're at a point where the majority of the business we're getting, our growth is coming from people I don't have a clue who they are, which is good.
Yeah,
I would rather that be the case.
Yeah.
But the support we get from friends, family, people I know is outstanding. It really is. And it's just been incredible to see that kind of support from people that I grew up with or people that I know or family or whoever. It's just, it kind of reaffirms, you know, myself. That's like this. I'm onto something. Like this could be something huge. It could not, but there's a potential that it could be something massive.
Yeah.
And you know, I really do have, other than like you know direct family, like friends, you know, acquaintances, people I grew up with, whoever, you know, other family members that aren't like direct family, cousins, whoever.
Yeah.
Like, hi puppy.
Yeah, she need to get her.
She's fine, man.
Yeah, I know. I just want to bark.
No, that's all good. But like. It really is the support from all those folks that has helped us get to where we've gotten, you know. So the support we've gotten has been incredible. It just, at first, it used to get to me because I was like, man, I'm trying to build this, and no one's paying attention.
Yeah, and you said, I've seen happen before, and you, like you were saying, like initially you were getting attention from places you weren't really expecting attention, and I think a lot of like that happens where like you're expecting a certain audience in your head, and like you even plan for a certain audience, and you get something different.
And it's totally different.
Yeah, you're like, why I don't like Montana's blowing up, not sure why.
right.
But like I feel like, especially with like the internet, it's like there's an audience out there for almost anything.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why like when I was like, I just gotta do it. I'll find an audience somewhere. Yeah. Maybe it's in Bangladesh. I don't know. Maybe they'll think I'm funny. I have no idea.
You'll get something.
Yeah, maybe Cincinnati will be huge in like the Cincinnati small businesses will be big in India. Who knows? I don't know.
No, it's true. You never know what your audience is going to be until you get it. And the key thing I've found is just like truly being thankful for that audience and like truly being like appreciative of that. Not just like, I appreciate you guys. And then, like, as soon as it starts to pick up, you're like, see ya. You know, it's truly, like, being appreciative for those folks that, like, helped you start to get to where we're at. You know, like, if it wasn't for, like, the support we got from friends and family and, like, just people I knew or whatever. Maybe they're not necessarily, I don't consider them a friend, or they're more of an acquaintance or whatever. If it wasn't for that support when we first started, we wouldn't be to where we are now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and we're, like I said, again, we're not like blowing it out of the water by any means, but we've went from one order every 2 or 3 days to 1.5 orders every day, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, and it's gotten to that point because of people that have supported us. So it's been incredible. You know, we have a long way to go, but that support alone has been a key reason for where we've gotten to so far.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's so important that people realize, like, the support you give for any bit. Like, big business doesn't need it, because, like, Amazon, they're getting them 50 million orders a day. So, like, Bezos isn't thankful for 2 of those sales. But every small business, like, I'm sure if you sell a bumper sticker, you're pumped about it. You're like, great, dude, another sale.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. If we sell something on our site, like, when I see it come through, I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that's incredible.
Yeah, and that even, like, on your social media, if they just like it or comment or share it.
It helps because, like, it's not like a vain thing where it's like, I have to have people like this. It's one of those things where it's like, man, I'm putting something out there that people, like, genuinely, like, cared enough about to say, you know, just hit like button or hit share button or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they cared enough to take 5 seconds to say, like, hey, this company's doing something pretty cool. Yeah. These guys are doing something pretty cool. Like, this is a pretty cool thing they just started or whatever this is, this business or whatever. You know, it's incredible. But, yeah, it's funny, the Amazon thing. It just... Because I personally have no problem with Amazon or with Bezos.
Yeah, I don't either.
People, like, can't stand Bezos because of what he's worth, but he's built that himself. Like,
yeah.
Granted, he's got employees all over the world that have helped him build it to where it is, but, I mean, he provided a product and a service that didn't exist when he started it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, the guy's worth, like, what, $200 billion or something crazy, like, absurd?
He bought Mars or something. I have no idea.
It's incredible, like, what they do and what he's accomplished. And the hate he gets is, like, I think it's just because he's, like, super successful.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, he shaved his head, and I think people didn't like that. I don't know why.
Went bald.
Yeah.
He got big, too.
Yeah, he yoked up and got bald,
yeah, he did.
which is weird.
He went from, like, super nerdy book guy to, like, just buff dude.
Yeah, that was a weird transition. But, like, I think that story is a good story because, like, from what it is now is, like, basically where we are. Like, working out of house, like, working out of wherever you are to do what you want to do.
And you can't deny the fact that Amazon changed the world.
Oh, like, yeah.
It changed the world and how everything's processed.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I agree with you in the sense that, like, if people want to support small business, they shouldn't buy their, you know, light up, you know, glow-in-the-dark socks or whatever from Amazon for $15 from some drop shipper.
Yeah.
You know, find somebody locally that could do it or whatever. There's a ton of custom guys. Like, that shirt you ordered is a custom... he's a guy out in Fairfield, too, and, you know, he's a vet, and he does apparel. Like, he'll do custom apparel.
Yeah.
You know, and it's one of those things where, like, I'll go to him if I need something. Like, I'm not going to go and get a bunch of, like, shirts with my logo printed from some, like, company I found online that I don't know who they are. I'm going to go to that guy because he's a local guy that's trying to blow his business up, too, and I'm going to support him any chance I can. Yeah. You know? And it's just one of those things where it's like, I could easily go online and find some company to print 100 shirts for me with my logo and get it to him or whatever. I'd rather go to him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, it is what it is. I mean, Amazon's never going to go away. It's only going to continue to get bigger.
Yeah.
You just got to figure out how to try and, like, maintain relevance in the online world.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I don't think there's anything... I mean, there obviously is, like, a dark side to big business, but also like they're still offering a service that people are using, and I mean, you use that service in your benefit to pursue something that will improve your life in some way. And like if you were coming over, like, and I knew you were coming over in a week, and one of our mics goes down, I can just Amazon, boom,
you have it in 2 days. You know?
And I don't have that worry anymore, as opposed to, like, with all of the packages going out, like, I don't know if certain other services could get it to me, maybe, but they're struggling. Like, it's Christmas, you don't know. Like, Amazon's got these drones out flying through my window. I'll have a broken window, but I'll have whatever they got me. I don't know.
You 2 hours.
Yeah, but, like, what the hell with the window? Oh, package. Yeah, so it's one of those things.
You get a new window shipped to your door.
Yeah,
you know,
which busts through a different window.
Exactly.
Yeah, so then I have 2 broken windows, but a new window delivered.
No, it's just it's. I think about convenience, you know, and that's why I think COVID changed like the world from a traditional retail standpoint. Because you know, getting up and going to, you know, PetSmart to get a new pet bed can be inconvenient when you can just go to Chewy.
Yeah. And
buy a pet bed off of Chewy and have it to you in 2 days, 3 days, or whatever. And it's like, yeah, it takes a little bit longer than just getting up and going, but I mean, that's why food apps are. That's why people pay like $10 more than they should to have food brought to their door.
Yeah,
so they don't get up and go a mile down the street.
Is there like an issue? Maybe the article I was reading was messed up, but like, are restaurants losing money because of things like DoorDash and Uber Eats, things like that? I don't really know how that system works.
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I know they're adapting to it because I think it's one of those. I think it's a catch-22 more than anything, where it's like you have to almost offer it to maintain that relevance. Yeah. But like at the same time, you're not making as much as you would if that person would just come into your store and buy it. Yeah. You know, your profit margins I think are a lot smaller, really small, because again, there's a delivery fee and all that. Yeah. But it's orders that you probably wouldn't get, especially during COVID. Yeah. Where those people weren't coming in, but they could still have it delivered to your door. You know. Yeah. So there's a convenience factor that people are willing to pay for. Yeah. And if it means they don't got to get up and get out of their... Because, you know, I've worn, like, the same pair of sweatpants during COVID, like, 3 consecutive months. Oh, yeah. It's like, there's a convenience factor there, you know? Where it's like, people just don't want to leave their house anymore. And they've gotten to the point where, like, they're finding additional ways. Maybe companies are, like, reorganizing how they operate. So we're like, you know what? You've been able to perform your job better than you would in the office this whole year during COVID. Yeah. We're just going to keep you working from home.
Yeah, you know? That's why when they talk, like, is New York going to, like, make a good comeback? And I think a lot of things in New York are realizing, like, do we need to rent all this real estate? Like, if you're still operating during, like, the heats of COVID, like, and you realize, like, oh, we're still fine, but no one's in the office, like, do you need that office?
Well,
like,
I think that's not, I don't think that's an appealing factor to people anymore. It's like, you know, like you said, like, do we want to continue renting this massive building just to say we have a massive building we're renting? Yeah. Or do we want to, like, offer convenience for people and have happy employees that want to work from home and,
for sure, yeah,
you know, can do their job just as effectively from their house and have more time with whatever they want to do on the side, you know?
Because that's another thing about you that I think is amazing is you do a lot. Like, you have the Pet Subs company. You're a realtor? Yeah. You are in the National Guard, and your dad. Like, I feel lazy sometimes. I'm some of those things. I was in the National Guard. I am a dad. I'm trying to do this podcast the best I can, but like you're doing it. And I was saying you're doing it very well.
You gotta, it's about, you know, and to be honest, I mean, a lot of it's sacrifice. Yeah, you know, it's. You know, there's a lot of sacrifice you have to make, and I have certain goals for myself and for my family that I want us to be in a certain position by a certain time, and that's going to take sacrifice, and that's going to be, you know, showing houses on a Friday night at 6 p.m. versus, you know, hanging out with the family or whatever. Yeah. And that's, unfortunately, it's what it takes in today's world. I mean, there is no, like, the days of just having one job, and this excludes, like, executives and stuff at large companies. But for regular people like you and me, the days of having just like one job, working 9 to 5, and living the life you want to live are gone. Like, it does not exist.
Yeah, like you can't afford a stay-at-home parent.
So you have to do something else to supplement income or to make more income or whatever the case is. And that's, you know, the Pet Subs thing is something that I have a long-term goal with. And, you know, I've been licensed in real estate for 5 years now, and that's, you know...
And you can plug that if you need a realtor.
Can help you out.
Yeah. While you're on the Pet Subs, just comment under your order from Pet Subs. Right. That you're also looking for a
need to buy a house.
Yeah. Thanks for the dog collar. Right. What about these houses? Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if you do that, I will give you a free bottle of whatever you're looking for.
Oh, there you go.
If you need to buy a house. But no, that's what I've done and that's what I do. And, you know, it's worked out to where, like, when I used to work third shift, this is before Pet Subs, I could sell real estate during the day. I could help during the day. Now it's like, well, if I'm in the office, then I'll show houses at night and I'll process orders at night. So maybe my orders, you know, if you order something at 10 a.m. and I'm working my full-time job in the office, I can't get it out in the door the same day by 2, you know, for the mailman. So it might have to go out the next day, but it's still within the 24-hour window that I want it to go out in.
Yeah, you're still hitting your standards, which I think, like, you, like, I I guess everyone should have like standards for how they want to do anything in their life, and you stick to it. You don't get lazy and just I'll get it tomorrow.
Right, it's it's one of those things where I'm very committed to getting every order out as fast as I possibly can, and a lot of companies would say, hey, 48 to 72 hours, we'll have your shipment processed and out the door. That's not good enough for me. Like, if I can get an order out the door within one day, and especially locally, there's people that have ordered something, especially like in the local area, the Cincinnati area, have ordered something and had it to their door in less than 24 hours.
Jeez.
And it's just like incredible. Like, that's that's the convenience factor coming into play. And that's what I want to be able to offer to people is like, if you buy something before a set time frame, which generally is like 2 to 3 p.m. roughly, depending on when our mailman comes. But if you buy something, let's say before 2 p.m. and I'm at the house, that order is going out the same day.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Wow.
And if it's after that time frame, it'll go out the next day just because I can't. It's not going to go out that day. The guy's gone already. But that's what I'm trying to accomplish with our business is be able to offer something that is like not just quality products, but quality customer service and like premium levels of customer care and customer service and premium levels of products that we offer.
Yeah.
But at prices that are like good prices and not like insane prices. Like I've had multiple people like our hemp oil we sell. It's like $27. Mm-hmm. And that's a good price point for us. Like it's good from a profit margin standpoint. We can afford to take a percent of that sale and donate it back, and we can afford to use the rest of that to build into our business and put back into our business. There's people that are like, dude, you need to charge twice what you're charging.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Yeah. Because
I know where we're at from a financial standpoint, and I don't need to charge twice what we're charging for like hemp oil because will people pay for it? Yeah. But I think that's because people generally don't understand the whole hemp oil, CBD oil concept yet.
Yeah.
It's not fully, there's no full awareness there. So people just like, oh, well, I need CBD oil to help with my dog's joint pain or my dog's anxiety. So I'm going to buy like the most expensive one I can find. That'd be like if like you've never had a car before. So you're like, I'm going to go buy a Maserati because I need a car.
I heard this was expensive.
Right. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want to offer something that is super expensive and our profit margins are like 900%.
Yeah.
When I can offer something at a good price that makes sense to the customer, it makes sense to us, everyone wins, and most importantly, it's helping their pet.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of where we're at with all that.
Yeah, and again, I can't stress enough like support in any form of support is support individuals like who are doing a small business, whether it's a like on Facebook, whether it's buying their products, anything helps. And you see that kind of stuff in your community. Like I don't know if you had it like growing up, like when like maybe the football team gets new jerseys and it's always like one of the dads who's like local business is doing well and he's like, I'm going to put this money back into the school, get the kids new jerseys, kids love them. And it's like you see those dividends like when you get a new playground at like the park, it's like because someone donated the money and then the city council put it in. Like I enjoy growing up seeing those dividends, and like as an adult, like you kind of want to be that person,
right?
Giving back those dividends.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's it's funny. Like you mentioned the sports thing, like our kids' little league. There's one local company that has their business. They do sporting like uniforms and stuff, and the shop they have isn't much bigger than like a 20 by 20 building. It's not a very big shop. Yeah. And they do the uniforms for the entire league. Like, that's really cool. That's really cool that the league goes to that guy specifically, and they probably got a good deal amongst themselves or whatever. But it is neat seeing that. It is cool seeing like local companies supporting local organizations or local, youth leagues or whatever the case is. And that's something, we try to do too. And, like, I don't know if you saw, like, in November, we paid, like, the adoption fees for senior pets in November. And, we'll do stuff like, I think it was in October we did, like, for every order we got, we would donate a blanket. Yeah. But then, like, if we hit a certain order, I would double it. Yeah. Like, that's the stuff that we do for our business on top of helping people's pets feel better. Like, that's the stuff we do that, like, makes me really feel good about what we're doing. Yeah. Like, genuinely feel good about, like, okay, we talk about the sense of purpose. Yeah. Like, that's that sense of purpose. Like, giving back to your community, like, helping others that need help within your community that you can afford to do. Yeah. That's where,
awesome. Like, that's where I think is, like, I think anyone like you like you don't have much, but like you have enough extra to like make things better in your community, and that's like the whole point of like small business. Granted, a lot of small business owners want to be small business forever.
Right.
Like every business wants to grow because you'd
Right.
rather have the option of being you'd rather have the option with your resources to be like, we made $1,000 this month. I can give between 100% and 0% of that money
Right.
to this cause.
Right.
But like if you're not making any money, you can't help anyone.
Right. No, it's true. And, it's something where, 5 years from now, I don't want to still be pumping out 1 order a day, 2 orders a day. 5 years from now, I'm hoping, we're having $1 million plus in revenue a year, and we're helping community, like in a much greater effort, helping our communities and employing people that maybe need help getting employment or whatever the case is, and just giving back every way we can. I want it to get to that point. But yeah, you're right. Like right now, if we have a really good month, that next month I'll run a deal, or I'll do something, within the community, or do a giveaway or whatever, just because it's like we got the extra cash to do it, and like when I say extra cash, I mean like after we put it back into our business, after if we need to restock inventory, we restock inventory. If we need to get more supplies, we get more supplies. And then after that, it's like, okay, we got some more cash. Like let's do a custom like blanket with somebody's pet on the blanket, and we'll do that giveaway. And like we'll put the extra, $150 we got after everything's paid, after bills are paid, after expenses, after restocking. It's like, yeah, we'll give away a blanket for somebody next month, and run this all next month.
Yeah,
so.
It's like I think it's way more like I've just seen it like. It's one of the. It's like almost like I got caught in this BS the other day at Starbucks though. The pay it forward. Like if people have like local people like in it, everyone's different. So like your margin of like how much extra money you have outside of your budget. Obviously, if you can't afford your bills,
right,
you can't afford to buy the guy behind you's coffee.
Right.
But like. If people have extra money and like they're local and they've been getting support from the community, 9 out of 10 times I see that person like, I got extra money. I can give this homeless guy money. I can pay for the food behind me. I can give this little girl's lemonade stand. Here's $10. I'll take 1 cup of lemonade.
Yeah.
Like if people can afford to do that on like the small level, like I see it all the time. Like if I do it, like I'll give money to something. Like I'm like, do I really have the money to be just giving to these? I don't know, probably not. But like. It helps them. I feel good about it.
Yeah.
It's a win-win. And I think like that dividend of when you what am I trying to say? Helping people, like it almost like when you help small business, they help you right back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like in any way you're giving help, that person whose business you just supported is helping someone or something in some way, shape, or form.
No, it absolutely is, and I love doing stuff like that. I mean, it's I'll go. It was a couple weeks ago or whatever. I was up at our local coffee shop, just getting a coffee for my wife, and I was just feeling good. We were having like a good week. We made we had a lot of sales that week or whatever. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just buy like a $20 gift card to this place and just tell them to use that gift card for like however many cars come through after me.
Yeah.
So like that's what I did. The business was having a good month, a good week, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put like a $20 gift card for like whoever comes through else and just pay. And I didn't say like mention our company or anything like that. I just did it. Somebody paid cash for something the other day. I just had a 20 that's been sitting in my wallet from the business. This isn't like my personal money, but it was $20 for Pets Ups. And it's just been sitting in my wallet for like a month and a half. Like I don't go to the bank ever, so I was like, I'm not going to go to the bank and deposit $20.
I don't even think. I think you get arrested if you go to the bank.
It's like you have to like set appointments and everything.
Yeah.
So like when I have that sitting in my wallet, I'm like, okay, I'm either going to do one of two things. I'm either going to like forget this is here, or I'm going to like wind up spending it on like Speedway.
Yeah.
And like getting drinks and snacks and stuff, and like wasting $20. So we went out to Frisch's the other day for dinner. Our family did, and Frisch's. I don't know if you've been there since like COVID or everything, but you gotta like order. You gotta like order at the front when you go inside. Mm-hmm. You order at the front desk, and then you go sit down. And then like there's a waitress that comes and she'll bring your food and she'll bring your drinks. But it's not like traditional like take your order and all that stuff.
At the table, yeah.
Right. So I was sitting there. And I'm like, do we leave a tip? Because like when I paid for the food, I was like, hey, do I have something I need to sign? Like, no, you're good. Like, how did I leave a tip? It's like I never carry cash.
Yeah.
So this lady was super nice. She was super helpful. She refilled our drinks a couple times. I think they forgot something on our order, so she went back, grabbed it, and brought it out. I was like, well, I gotta tip this lady. I can't just not tip her. She helped us. It's not like she just brought her food. It was like, see ya, and like left.
Yeah.
Like, she helped us. So I was like, well, I got this $20 in my wallet. I'm probably gonna spend it on stupid crap at Speedway.
Yeah.
So I just left it as a tip.
Yeah, and that's awesome because all of those people need that stuff.
Yeah, and you never know. Like you said, you never know what anybody's going through. I've been fortunate enough and lucky enough to be able to do everything I do and support our family and have a little extra here and there. So it's like, why not help somebody that I'm not saying they need it.
Yeah.
But like you don't know either. You don't know if they do or not.
Know.
But like I said, I'm gonna spend that on like monsters and cheeseburgers from Speedway.
Yeah.
Or I'll just leave this lady a good tip right before the holidays.
Yeah. I mean,
who knows?
And that's what's out. It's about giving back.
I also left my card, so she knew who it was from.
That's what we're talking about. Business. All right. But I think this has been great. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Definitely go to PetSup's website. Contact him about anything. Like his post. Share his stuff on any social media you see it on. And thanks for coming, man. This was great.
Yeah, this was awesome. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. No, anytime. All right. We'll see you. Thanks, guys.